Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We're here at the 17th Circuit Court in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I personally have experienced the worst abuse, the worst disorganized, dysfunctional court in America, I hope. If the court system in your town is like the court system in this town, we will never have a due process of law, we will never have a fair day in court, and will never be heard by the justice system, because the corruption, criminal activity, the docket tampering, from the mailroom to the clerks, to the postal men that don't deliver documents, that don't return green cards and return receipts, to the clerks that are disappearing documents that are filed and signed for. The most corrupt, disorganized court, definitely in the state of Florida, and maybe in the whole United States. I called on our Governor DeSantis to look into the appointment of his Judge Davis, to make sure that Judge Davis does the right thing on behalf of the children in this country and the new laws of protect the parental rights, which Ron DeSantis is supposed to be championing. Well, he didn't protect my parental rights when my child Logan was taken away 12 years ago from this court, from a Judge Horowitz, who denied a visitation right to a mother who reared a child, who has inalienable rights to rear her child. They were taken away with no merit, no cause. As a nonprofit organization, I happened to take this person under my wing and help her as a mother who was also an immigrant. So when you talk about Title 42, I know all about it, and we'll get into that another time. This time it's about the court system, not criminal court, not criminal judicial reform. We need judicial court and clerk of court reform. Here in the 17th Circuit Court, the clerk of court separated from the administrative part of the court, and they tie their hands, not enabling the court and the clerk of court to do their job, to do the proper investigations with the FBI, to be able to uncover the fraud, abuse, deception, when the judges themselves, not calling out Judge Davis, because I'm praying, Lord Jesus Christ, that the Judge Davis does the right thing in this case. I'm stating that the judges in this court, some of them, will go to the strip clubs with their lawyers, drink and have fun and party. Well, a boy has been taken away from his mother for 12 years with no right. And after the 17th Circuit Court failed due process of law, not even an evidentiary hearing, the case was appealed at the 4th DCA and won. And a PCA was issued with no decision, and then a mandate 2 months later, which was combined on the court documents, never filed sequentially on the court document, and it stated it was affirmed. It wasn't. It was a mandate that ordered further proceedings in the case. The 17th Circuit Court did not effectuate the mandate, denied the mother the right to have a modification hearing, and the father of the child got a passport and took off and stole the child for 12 years, brainwashed, alienated, child abuse under the statutes of the state of Florida. And 12 years later, the state of Florida comes to collect child support and tags my bank account and takes money illegally under what they call a tenants in entirety account, because the woman who I'm talking about is my wife. So when you talk about Title 42 and you talk about immigrations and you talk about children's rights and parents' rights, I call on America. Now, this must stop. People, citizens, if you have a problem with your court and you're being treated unfairly and your due process of law is not allowed, and your fairness in the court and you're having problems dealing with the court, call me, support me. When I become president of this country, child's rights will be protected. Not parents' rights first, where one parent's got more power and more clout and more ability to be able to bribe the judges, to be able to manipulate the court, and the other parent can't do it, can't take care of it, especially when a woman's having a child and then has to take care of it. But in this case, the man took the child and took off, brainwashed, alienated, abused the child. The mother hasn't seen the child, my child, for 12 years. And when I went to the state, Governor Ron DeSantis, and I informed the governor, and I informed Moody, the Attorney General, and what do? They put an Attorney General on the case, and then they take the state of Florida and add them to the case to go against my wife and me and my family with no care, no regards, no thoughts, no understanding, and no legal authority to do what they did. The mandate from the court was not upheld. The father disappeared. The court is in violation of the law. The state of Florida called 15, 20 times demanding, threatening to collect money, take away licenses, take away automobiles, and destroy a woman's life who's done nothing wrong. A perfect, genuine, correct person who obtained her citizenship a few years back and her driver's license, and now the state of Florida is trying to take it away, aiding and abetting a first-degree felon in the state that holds a 10-year prison sentence and a multi-million-dollar fine. But yet Donald Trump, the President of the United States, 2 decades ago, maybe 3, had some type of engagement in a department store with no evidence whatsoever, physical evidence, other than he said, she sells seashells by the seashore. And they charged Donald Trump $5 million penalty and defamation of character. Well, this father who stole this child got bogus cases filed against me. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the Democratic Party, where are you? Where are you, Congresswoman? Where are you? Why aren't you acting and fixing this court? I'm calling on the Democratic Party local representatives and leaders to correct this court and to call out the governor of the state, Ron DeSantis, that his court here in the 17th Circuit Court is corrupt, it's bribery, and if they can give Donald Trump $5 million fine and penalty without a witness and state that they defamed his character, well, the father of this child hired Ashcroft Law Firm through his company Regis Corporation to dig up dirt on me and filed a case against me past the statute of limitations, where unfortunately it doesn't seem like we have any statute of limitations 3 decades ago. But in my case, it was beyond the statute of limitations, and because the court of the Southern District, the same exact court magistrate office that allowed the feds to go into Mar-a-Lago and issued the subpoena, is the same court that filed a case against me beyond the statute of limitations without any evidence. Because of the preponderance of evidence in the Chevron case, they slapped a $5 million lien on me. And then, thank God, Judge Reiskamp, who's passed away, decided not to enforce or impose a penalty on me because the exorbitant penalty of the excessive fines clause was violated. In the same fashion that Donald Trump's being penalized $5 million for defamation of character, when these people defame me all over the place, and they still do it today by continuing to Google bomb and pump dirt on the internet where they can't read the bottom line, where most of what happened in my life was vacated and the court did not impose fines on me. But no, the 17th Circuit Court here and Judge Horowitz, he should be derobed from the robe room to the courtroom to the strip bars where they hung out and paid each other. I ask you, Governor, this got to be cleaned up. You've taken my child now. Just think of all the other children. When I become president of this country, there'll be an automatic child sharing, automatic parenting, and automatic rights for child to see their mother. It's been 12 years, not a phone call. And your court here, the 17th Circuit Court, when they came from the state to file the collection for child support that's not owed because the mandate superseded the court orders from the court, they abused me. They came after me for nothing. And they used the case in the SEC, and the father of this case, who worked for Regis Corporation, dug up this dirt with Ashcroft Law Firm, said that I was a criminal, filed restraining orders against me, and used a case in the SEC against me to tarnish my name, destroy, defame me, and defame my now wife, as a bad mother when she was a perfect mother, and the court said she was unfit and I was a criminal and I couldn't handle the child and I couldn't be the stepfather to the child because I was a danger to the child. Can you believe this? I'm a papal knight appointed by the Vatican. I'm a 3-time honorary doctor. I have an appointment from the Coptic Order Knights of Malta. I'm the Grand Prior of a sovereign order in my own court under the codices of the sovereign order. And this court, this criminal court, had the audacity to utilize false, fraudulent misrepresentation evidence whereby they now have the right to vacate the child support and hold this criminal accountable for the first-degree felon of brainwashing a child, alienating a child from its parent, and basically involuntarily taking away the mother's rights and parental rights to be with her child and destroying a child's life, his own child. What kind of person, again, what kind of person takes a child Logan from a perfect mom, hides him, takes him away, denies him a right to talk to his mother, and still walking the streets here with no regard for the law, and the state of Florida joins the case, comes against me as OBO against my wife and I, where they lean my account. Then they tell me I can't be part of the case because I can't speak in the case when it's my money, where I offered to put up a bond until this was complete. No, they couldn't wait. They had to grab the money. It's not about the money, ladies and gentlemen, just like you know and I know. Money's only one thing. It goes in one pocket and out the other, especially when you talk about politics. In this case, it's about a child's rights, your rights, parents' rights, and American citizens' rights to be with their children and get a fair day in court. And I'm calling out every politician in this country to uphold their oath of office, to demand judicial reform. When I become president of the United States, anyone that violates the Constitution of the United States, similar to praising Mr. Kemp from Georgia, the governor, who just effectuated laws that can remove prosecutors. Prosecutors are liars, misrepresentatives, and manipulators, and they don't care about nothing. The Guardian ad litem, Juliet Littman, in this case, wrote a recommendation report that was so full of baloney that it couldn't even cut mustard, and they took it. And then Vicky Plant, the magistrate here in the court, wrote a bogus order of income when the tax returns didn't even matter, and my wife didn't even have a green card, and they wanted to force her to go to work to pay child support that she doesn't owe, when in fact she was with a man for more than 7 years from the UK, which under common law, it's a marriage. But no, the state of Florida doesn't hear common law. But when we brought up common law, they're supposed to at least listen to it. They denied. We filed in the court in December an emergency motion. The judge, no, probably not Judge Davis, but Karen Sisson, his assistant, issued an order. It's not an emergency. Call the hotline. We subsequently filed more documents in the court. They got lost. I've got the receipts that they received them. The clerk of court didn't file them. The mail room disappeared with the documents. Now the judge says, oh, you're late. We're not late for nothing. We're never late. The only one that's late is the court. The only one that's fraud is the court. The only one that took away my stepson's right is this court. And I ask you people, this has got to stop. Please join me, Daniel Imperato, 2024, for President of the United States. I don't know which party I'm going to join, but I can tell you this. I've called Ronna McDaniels. I've called Jamie Harrison. I really don't care about what party. I'm an independent. 48% of this country is independent voters, and I can tell you, if you support me, I'm going to change this criminal activity in our country, especially in this court. Who did me wrong, who's doing you wrong, who's doing us wrong, all our life, every day in our life, causing more pain, more hurt, and more damage, when it clearly states brainwashing and alienating a child from a parent is the worst thing that one can go through. It's better a child is dead than going through one that's alive that you never seen. And for this court to make her replay this, instead of immediately issuing an order, vacating the old child support order, demanding the visitation of the child with the mother, and enforcing the statutes of the state of Florida. Instead, the governor's office, Ron DeSantis, Ashley Moody, sent in an attorney general who flipped on us, who added themselves to the case. And when I called them the other day, well, we can't do that. You have to file documents with the state. We filed documents. This is a year. The state of Florida never answered one pleading, not one, because they can't, because it's illegal what they're doing. And the court never answered the judge, never issued one order with one case law, superseding case law, controlling case law, Supreme Court case law, nothing. Zero. And the father of the parent didn't answer one pleading. And he says, I don't have to answer nothing. No, that's not true. You don't have to answer it if it's frivolous. But you have to prove that it was frivolous, and you cannot answer a complaint or a pleading based upon the fact that you're usurping the power of the court and running away because you don't have the money from Regis Corporation that you had before that hired Ashcroft to come against me. You're a weakling with no spine, no background. You're a crook. You're a criminal. You're a first-degree felon, and you took a child of 12 years old, your child, from the mother. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, and they ought to lock you up for the 10 years, and you got to pay for the crimes in America. If you have these problems in your court, reach out for me. Cry out for me. I'm considering filing a class action suit against all the courts in this country for doing this type of criminal activity, docket tampering, dockets disappearing, no callback from the clerk of court. They're all hiding under cover of COVID. Well, they're working from home. No, COVID's gone. Joe Biden said that. So I ask you now, and again, in the name of Jesus Christ, it's God that'll lead this way, not this court. They will get what they deserve, but we must pray. Join the rapper. Revive America's prayer again with me, Daniel Imperato, and stop this judicial tyranny. Read my book, Independent America's Political Mafia and Judicial Tyranny. It's got to stop. He said, she sells by the seashore, and one goes in this pocket and the other goes in this pocket, and they fill their pockets. They're not helping you, America. They're not helping the people, America. 32 trillion. In 2006, it was 9 trillion. Bush started the war in Iraq, which began the role of spending out of control. But today, Donald Trump, he's sitting in Mar-a-Lago, flying around great with your money. Joe Biden says he's going to have a grassroots campaign while he's president. I'm the grassroots campaign. I'm here fighting for the people. And whether I win, lose, or draw the presidency, I will continue to fight for you until I'm off this earth. And I hope that I can train a bunch of students. I hope I can speak at all the universities. And I hope I can teach the students to defend, uphold, and study their constitutional, judicial, Christian values the way our founding fathers set it in stone, with our ability to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States. God bless you. God bless America. God bless our troops who fought for years and years and years for freedom. Our freedoms are being taken away by both parties. You need a president that's going to protect, defend, and uphold the Constitution and enforce biblical training and teaching and Bibles back in the school, constitutions back in the school, and the children learning what their inalienable rights are under the First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Seventh Amendment, 14th Amendment, as well as the excessive abuse under the Eighth Amendment against the citizens of the United States. God leads the way. It's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh, and God leads the way. Pray, pray, pray. We love you. God bless you. Have a great day. Remember, 17th Circuit Court must be reformed, and every other court in this country that's denying children and their parents a right and destroying people's